menopause and the impact on the brain, mind, body, and soul, and the link with Alzheimer's, cardiovascular and other long-term effects. Combating menopause symptoms with Dr. Lisa Mosconi, Women's Brain Initiative, Weill Cornell Medicine Neurology. Clinical trial sponsored by NE, exploring the link between menopause and Alzheimer's, how menopause impacts the brain. 2/3 of women, 1/3 of men develop Alzheimer's. A woman in her 60s is twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's as breast cancer, so brain health for women needs our attention. The decline in estrogen is super important for brain function, and all functions. Estrogen is the master regulator in women's brains and body, from growing brain cells to having energy. It's also a neuroprotector. When the ovaries stop making estrogen or reduce production of estrogen, energy changes, the way that the brain is able to make neurotransmitters changes, the way that the brain overcomes new information changes, everything slows down. This can enable the formation of amyloid plaques or Alzheimer's plaques for women with a predisposition to Alzheimer's. Brain scans provide a visible medical concern and have shown that these plaques can develop during perimenopause. A protein called amyloid beta is a sticky protein that can bind to itself to form amyloid plaques. If enough amyloid plaques are formed, it causes neurological inflammation, and we start to experience symptoms of Alzheimer's. The effects start in the hippocampus, the part responsible for forming new memories. Then it spreads to the frontal lobes, problem-solving and decision-making. It affects language. It affects the limbic system, causing changes in emotion and personality. The good news: the plaques take 15 to 20 years to build up. What can we do? What influences amyloid plaque levels? One contributing factor is sleep. While we sleep, our brain clears out amyloid beta. Long-term sleep problems cause an accumulation. Mediterranean diet can reduce risk anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2. Eat the rainbow, greens, brightly colored fruits and vegetables, berries, fatty fishes, nuts, beans, olive oil. These foods support brain health. Exercise. A brisk walk 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week reduces amyloid plaques anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2. Chronic stress affects the ability to create new memories. Cortisol levels are high, which shrinks your hippocampus and inhibits the birth of new neurons. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and spending time with people reduces stress and restores the hippocampus. Learning new things and building new neural connections is a neural protector. Women's brains run on estrogen, men's run on testosterone. Men go through andropause, male menopause, but they experience it later in life, in their 70s, 80s. Men don't have the impact of the 3 Ps, pregnancy, puberty, and perimenopause. Women's brains change in puberty, pregnancy, and perimenopause. Most brains adapt and find a new normal. Puberty, the connection between the ovaries and the brain gets stronger through puberty. On the first day of menstruation, follicular stage, estrogen is low. Within 10 days estrogen peaks as we approach ovulation. Testosterone peaks right before ovulation but broadly remains stable. Estrogen starts to withdraw. Progesterone, the luteinizing hormone, are higher during the second phase of the menstrual cycle, making you feel more sleepy. You can see neurons grow when estrogen is higher. Studies show that verbal memory is more active during that specific phase of the cycle. Women are more energized and in a better mood. Cognitive performance for the vast majority of women is fine. The brain finds a new normal. The brain adapts quite well. But for some women, when the Alzheimer's plaques develop, there can be longer-term effects. HRT needs to be individually assessed. HRT taken 6 years after menopause isn't protective against Alzheimer's. Removal of the ovaries before menopause can bring on early menopause. HRT can be a protective factor against heart disease, osteoporosis, and cognitive health, but lots more research is needed. Individual factors need to be considered. A clinical trial is looking at a very specific estrogenic formulation that does not increase the risk of breast cancer and might be protective for the brain if started before menopause. This trial started in 2022 and is ongoing for a total of 5 years. Dr. Mosconi is working hard to include the brain when assessing women's health. The Women's Brain Initiative. In some cases, if you had Alzheimer's plaques in the brain, taking estrogen can make it worse. If there's one thing that we can do, and that all the specialists agree on, including brain scientists, women's health specialists, menopause specialists, OBGYN specialists. It's exercise. It's protective of the brain and hormones. Women who are physically active in midlife have a 30% lower risk of dementia later in life compared to women who are broadly sedentary in midlife. Hot flushes reduce and brain fog reduces. How can we reduce stress? Stress reduction is really important. We know that stress is bad for the heart, but chronic stress is bad for brain health and hormones. Stress will reduce estradiol and increase cortisol. We don't tend to prioritize our mental health. We have toothbrushes, we have moisturizer, face masks, but mental health should be as important as body hygiene. Some suggestions to reduce stress: meditation, realistic expectations, healthy boundaries, saying no to people, prioritizing good sleep hygiene. Alcohol: the way the body responds to alcohol is influenced by hormonal levels. Drinking during the first phase of your cycle when estrogen is higher, you'll feel the effects faster. During the second phase when progesterone is higher and estrogen is lower, you'll drink more to feel the effects. Alcohol dehydrates. Even a 2 to 4% loss of water can cause neurological symptoms including brain fog, dizziness, fatigue, and confusion. The brain is sensitive to dehydration. The Mediterranean-style diet rates high for health. Italians never drink alcohol or coffee without a glass of water to accompany. Legumes and fish omega-3s. Fiber has a harmonizing effect on hormones. Compared to a Western-style diet, women have a 25% lower risk of heart disease and 50% lower risk of breast cancer, 25% reduction in hot flushes, 30% lower risk of depression, lower risk of dementia. Brain scans measuring the brains of midlife women found that according to the Mediterranean diet versus the Western diet, the changes in the brain are dramatic. The Mediterranean diet brain looks 5 years younger. Dr. Mosconi went to dinner with a group of specialists, and all the brain scientists who are researching nutrition and its effects on the brain were vegetarians who occasionally ate fish. Smoking is the #1 cause of early menopause in women. Processed food has a significant effect on hormones. Let's recap the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, or 6 powerful habits. 1. Mental well-being, self-compassion, realistic expectations, stay aligned with your values, body scan, understand your symptoms, do your own symptom review identifying what exacerbates the menopause symptoms. Meditation, yoga, focusing on what you're experiencing in the body, affirmations, challenging negative self-talk. Tracking your menstrual cycle using an app. Being mindful of what we watch on TV. Connecting through nature. 2. Minimizing harmful substances. Notice energy levels, mood, and cognition following overeating processed food, alcohol consumption, excessive internet or social media use. 3. Healthy relationships. Ask for help. Talk to other women who are having similar experiences. Check out if your employer has a menopause policy and what support might be available. Set healthy boundaries according to your energy levels, level of cognition, saying no to people and putting your needs first. Consider contacting a menopause clinic if symptoms persist. 4. Healthy eating. Think nutrition. What does my body need? Try out different things, gluten-free. 5. Sleep, hot flushes, ruminating, anxiety, use a body scan. 6. Physical activity, movement and chair exercises, reduce time sitting down where possible. Which symptoms overlap with depression and anxiety, and how can you identify menopause as a possible contributing factor? Consider all symptoms, check physical symptoms, what keeps this person awake? You can use a timeline, an exploration of changes in lifestyle and relationships, process of elimination, taking a brief history. How can you help treat the symptoms? Which strategies could you use? Using the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine incorporated into sick role and self-care. Identify the person's resilience credits using the symptom review. All general strategies, exploring individual experience, normalizing. Empathy is the antidote to shame. Do you have mental well-being practices incorporated into your week, or do you struggle with energy and headspace to enjoy any potential practices? Are you struggling with motivation? Check out any other barriers or resistance to change. What types of nutrition have you found helps you in how you feel physically and mentally? Does nutrition impact your sleep, energy levels, or mood? Research shows the Mediterranean diet hits the mark. Vegetarian with occasional fish. Drink water. Good amount of protein. Has there been a time previously when we've exercised more? How has this impacted how we feel? What might be realistic for us to sustain? Continue this conversation with colleagues, friends, and family. Maybe something to reflect on. When we apply this stuff to ourselves, it can help us understand and empathize with clients how difficult it can be to incorporate the 6 pillars. Mediterranean diet recipes.